What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back with another review of Sistas. This is season 9, episode 15, and let's go ahead and talk about it. Again, we replay the part where Andy's mom has walked into her office, or should I say the conference room. I keep asking, who is Andrielle? Because that lady literally said, Andrielle Monique Barnes. Who is that? And then I feel like she corrected herself. It was like Andrea later on. But you know what? Whatever. So, of course, we have seen that Andy is busted making out with Dr. Vaughn. And her mom, honestly, just from meeting her on the top of this episode, she seems very judgy. And she does introduce herself to Dr. Vaughn. But she was low-key treating him a bit rude at first until she found out that he was a doctor. Oh, that changed everything for her, okay? So, Valerie, we learned that's her name, Valerie, she's coming in hot, and from seeing her and how she kept talking, I said, oh, baby, it makes all the sense why Andy is like she is. Because the mom is giving, I tried to provide for Andrea, make sure she has everything, but also at the same time, kept drilling in her head that she was better than any and everybody. No man is good enough for her precious baby. And also at the same time, with her being a church lady the way she is, it's absolutely given that she kept Andy on lockdown, okay? Definitely kept Andy on lockdown when she was younger. And this is why Andy is who she is today, okay? Now, besides my theory on that, here's the thing. Oh boy leaves, right? We do see Dr. Vaughn leave, and Andy has a conversation with her mama. Y'all, this is the part that threw me. Andy mama basically brings up the fact that she needs to know who Andy is dating. And that is because the last time she heard, Andy was dating a politician. Now, here's the thing. That would be Jordan, right? However, the mom ends up bringing up the fact that Andy got kidnapped by Gary and, almost got killed by his wife. Now, here's my question, y'all. Which time she talking about? Because Andy got kidnapped by Gary a long time ago, okay? But her almost getting killed by his wife, technically that's happened twice, okay? Long time ago when she shot Gary with those rubber bullets, and recently when Hudson ended up killing her off. Okay? So I'm just like, well, Andy, when do you talk to your mama? Because the stuff that she's talking about is so old. Like, I just want to know, do y'all talk to each other? Oh, baby, the mama was being so dramatic about how, oh my God, if something happened to you, I don't know what I would do. And come to find out, they only talk every 3 to 4 months. Every 3 to 4 months, and a few times in between that. I'm like, whoa. No wonder. Andy definitely seems like she's the type that once she got from up under her mom, she tried to keep some distance, okay? Because she wants to be nothing like her mother, right? So at one point, her mom is going on about what the church would think and all of this stuff, and basically called Andrea. I'm gonna keep calling her Andrea now. She's telling her daughter that she's so sinful. Like, I wouldn't stay in your sinful apartment. I'm just like, lady, you doing a lot. Like, I promise y'all, this woman was not on the show for more than 10 minutes. We put all her time together. But she doing a lot, okay? Now, what's crazier to me is the fact that this woman basically showed up to Andy's job to ask her for a ride, right? Talking about, oh, yeah, well, you can go ahead and take me to my sister's house because I need to go over there. She's only about 30 minutes away from here. Ma'am, how'd you get here? My question is, lady, how did you get here? Did you take Uber here? Did you take a taxi? A Lyft? How did you get here? Because I think Andy said that she lived in like Florida or something. So I just want to know how you got all the way here and you couldn't make it to your sister's house. Girl, I guess. Now, as far as Andy goes, she already over her mama being there. She's like, oh, I am getting so behind on work. The more that I'm sitting here talking. And her mom was like, no, but you can take me, right? And Andy's like, no, I have to do work, but I can get a ride for you. Now, what's crazy to me, though, is that her mom took the opportunity to be like, oh, well, don't you have an assistant that can do your work? No. Listen, this may be the one time that Andy works all year, lady, because Andy don't do no work at this job, okay? She don't. But for you to be like, oh, you can just pass that off to your assistant, and I get it. A lot of times, people who are assistants, they do bitch work, okay? It's the work nobody wants to do. But, please, let Andy do her job the one time, okay? Now, this is where things got interesting to me, because Andy, she ends up telling her mom that, oh, you know, Fatima, she's really busy working on some projects. And the mom's like, okay, well, what projects is she working on? And Andy tells her, like, oh, well, you know, she's working on some stuff for me and some other projects. And basically, her mom is telling her, well, you may need to get another paralegal. And I'm just like, wait, hold on. Ma'am, you just got here, okay? Do I want those two ladies separated? Absolutely. But not at the hands of you, okay? I think you're doing a whole lot. And also, at the same time, here's my thing. It don't matter what Fatima is doing right now. Technically, it's not her job what she's doing. Let this show tell it. Because the things that she's even doing for Andy, she's not supposed to be doing, because they're not supposed to be working on that particular case. And that is the only case that Andy has going on. Okay? Now, as far as her working with Hayden, again, she's doing things she ain't supposed to be doing, but at the end of the day, Hayden is at the forefront. He's the face of, you know, whatever. Meeting with these players and all of that jazz, right? Moving on from there, y'all. Matter of fact, I am not about to go in order. I'm about to jump around a little bit and put some of these storylines together, all right? So, follow along because you have watched the episode. So, moving on, we're going to jump to Karen, okay? Karen and Aaron, you know, he's questioning when she wants to move. Baby, she said as soon as possible. She is trying to get the hell out of Atlanta. And she asks him again, like, are you cool with this? And he's like, yeah, you know, as long as I got you and baby Faith, then we are good to go. But of course he wants to know that they have some stability when they get there. So Pam ends up calling, and you know, she's really just checking on Karen, but also telling her that, you know, she has things under control at the shop. Now, there are clients who are asking for Karen because she was probably their regular person that they go to. And when people have their regular person, that's who they want. Maybe one time, maybe two times at most, they'll try somebody new, but really they be wanting their regular person. They don't care about you being on maternity leave at all. Okay? Now, Karen does tell Pam that they need to have a conversation soon because they have some things to talk about, but not over the phone. Okay? So at some point, Karen's going to have to break the news to Pam that she plans on moving. Okay? So after that, when she gets off the phone, they start talking about Houston. Like, oh yeah, maybe we can move to Houston. And Aaron is like, yeah, but they have all those natural disasters out there. And next thing you know, Lisa comes over, right? Aaron excuses himself with the baby, and Karen tells her mom that she needs a fresh start. She needs to get out of Atlanta. There's a lot of bad memories. And yes, you know, she does have her girls there, but let's be so fucking for real right now. Her girls are not helping her not a 1 ounce with this baby, okay? They're not helping her at all. That's the first thing. The second thing is that Lisa, you can travel anywhere. You've been doing that since we met you, okay? You was popping in, popping out. So it's really not going to be hard for you to pop in on your daughter if she lived in another state, okay? Because you was forever camping somewhere in the middle of the boonies. You know what I'm saying? Here's the thing. My only thing about this idea of Karen moving, I don't know if it's just, you know, to get them off the show. They don't want to do it anymore. Who knows? But the thing about it is, it does seem like she's making a rash decision while she's going through postpartum depression. And what's bothering me is that she mentioned how, you know, the support group has helped her so much. But baby, you've only been to one meeting. And I think you need to go to a couple more meetings before you can decide that, oh yeah, this will be the best thing for me. Like, it seems like she's just, I know she's trying to escape, but I don't think that she needs to rush to move out of the state just yet. You know what I'm saying? If she was to say, okay, Aaron, in 3 months, let's go, let's do it, that's fine. But to me, it just seems like Karen is like so eager to get the hell out of Atlanta. I'm just like, whoa, slow down, baby. Like, I'm not even worried about the fucking fake friendship circle that they got. I'm more concerned about her mental well-being than any of the rest of it, okay? So her mom does eventually say that she understands where Karen is coming from, and at the end of the day, she will help her daughter do whatever she got to do, okay? So moving on from there, Danny and this cop is still talking, y'all. They're talking. He trying to, flirt with her a little bit. He asked her for her number multiple times, and she ends up telling him like, oh, well, I got a man. He said, I don't care about your man. You don't have a ring on your finger. So let me get that number. She does not give him her number. However, he gives her his. So we already know at some point she's going to be using that phone number. Okay. The only thing I kept thinking of was, sir, aren't you supposed to be hauling Leonard off to get, booked? He needs to be in the jail cell. So why are you wasting all this time talking to Danny? Like, what's going on here? So she ends up going home, y'all. She goes home, and Tony, he watching the game. Now, we see that his team is losing, right? Like I told y'all, he's definitely doing some type of sports betting. He's losing. I feel like he's losing money. Now, when Danny comes home, she tells him about the layoffs at work and how, I didn't get laid off, but my hours got cut. That nigga did not say, oh my God, babe, I'm so sorry. Like, and this doesn't help because I'm not working. None of that. None of that was said. And I'm just like, he really don't give a fuck. Like, he really don't give a damn. And it's frustrating to watch because, y'all, let's be completely honest. This current Tony is not the Tony that we've been introduced to. Yes, I've called him a creep because he was a creep when he was trying to get with Daniela, okay? We're never going to forget that, him in that creepy fucking van. But how is it that you were at VP level, and usually those type of people are way more structured. Their thought process should be a lot different than what his is right now. Like, I'm confused. He was her number one supporter of her going to therapy and all these things. But she's telling you how her hours are now cut, which means she could be working part-time. And I mean real part-time. We don't know what that looks like just yet. And you have nothing to tell her? Like, oh, I think it's just management trying to save money and cut back. That's it? That man frustrates me so bad. But next thing you know, he lets her know, oh, baby, my kid's coming in town because, it's going to be my birthday. And I was thinking that we all can stay here. It's enough space. Nigga, what? Are you on drugs, Tony? Oh, wait, we already ran that storyline with Q, so that can't be it. I'm trying to understand why you think you and your thieving ass kids, because I will never forget that they were stealing from Danny, your thieving ass kids need to be in Danny's apartment, her studio apartment that has no space. It's barely enough space for you and her. Like, be so fucking for real. And also what's frustrating me even more about this situation now that I think about it is that even if I was to take Danny getting some money out the equation, nigga, you was a VP at a company. You never thought to upgrade her and be like, all right, babe, let's move in together. But you know what? Let's get a 1-bedroom apartment. Even before you lost your job. Nigga, I'm giving you a side eye. Nonetheless, yeah, she tells him, you can get a hotel for you and your kids because we're not doing that. And I'm like, okay, yeah, he can do that. And also what you need to do is break up with him. Okay? Now, she looks at the table. And he has some lube on the table, y'all. Because according to him, he has friction burn because of her. And I'm just like, at this big age, and this is your partner, y'all been a partner, she's been your partner for a minute. You did not think to communicate. It was better for you to get your nut off. That's crazy to me. That's so crazy to me. You did not communicate with her. You did not stop having sex with her because of all this. But, okay, bet. So, at this point, she tells him, no, I'm not the problem, you're the problem. And she's right. He is the problem because she's finding him less and less attractive, baby. Having sex with him is now a chore. Okay? It's not something that she wants to do. And the crazy part is that she tells him that she about to go, meet with the girls or whatever. She throws some money on the table. It's in an envelope. And I mean, it had to be a lot of money because, you can feel that it was heavy. Not feel, but you can hear that it was heavy when it hit the table, right? She throws the money on the table. And y'all, I think that man is going to bet her money away. I think she's going to lose her money behind Tony. And I'm like, damn, baby. All of this behind him. This shit is crazy. You literally took his ass back when you shouldn't have. Because let's start there. That nigga was doing all types of inappropriate things to you at work, okay? You never initiated. From what we saw, it was always him in a public setting, okay? Then when corporate got involved, HR got involved, and basically was like, yo, this is an inappropriate relationship. Number one, he never reported it. Number two, he was going to let you take the fucking fall for it. The one time Andy was a good fucking lawyer, she was able to get you some money in your pocket. And you took the nigga back, which is crazy. Ain't no way you should have ever went back to him when he told you that you should take the fucking fall so that he don't lose his job. At that point, it should have been a complete separation. But no, you thirsty to keep this nigga. He's going to take your fucking money. And baby, as fast as you got it, you lost it with your dumb ass. Because you should have kept it in the fucking bank. Moving on from her, we see Paige and Maurice at the bank. Paige clearly has an issue that Maurice is dating her brother. She ain't gonna say it out loud, but there's clearly an issue there, okay? Maurice, he goes to talk to Sabrina, and, he mentions how Paige is acting a certain way, and Sabrina's like, oh, yeah, whatever. She wants to talk about the fact that this man, he finished Maurice's vision board or whatever. And y'all, when she held it up, I said, baby, this vision board ain't even finished. But I guess. Then we bring this around town to the fact that Sabrina don't know what to do about Danny's cousin. Y'all, I'm so confused as to why she's confused. Girl, he got you hooked like this? You only messed around with him one time, girl. So, like I said, she trying to figure out what to do. Here's the thing. Either you are going to be a hoe with him or you're not. You ain't got too many options, sis. Maurice is trying to tell her you need to detach. This just needs to be hookups. That's it. You sleep with him. You send him on his way. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay? So then Sabrina, she's like, well, mixing relationships with your friends' relatives, that's challenging. That, I will say, is the truth, okay? Me, personally, I don't believe in dating any of my friends' relatives. Because shit gets sticky, and at the same time, that's their family. It's just, no. Shit get messy like that. No way, no bueno. I don't play those games. So then Rock ends up sending Sabrina some nasty messages. I think he sent her a photo or something like that. And now we have this whole thing about, Sabrina has never sent a nude before, so Maurice has to walk her through it. Okay, I get it that, maybe she's not that kind of girl, but the naiveness of her pisses me off, y'all. Sabrina is 30 plus. Okay, the way she be acting so naive, it's as if she's never dated anybody. You know what? I think I've realized my issue with Sabrina's character. Sabrina's character should have been a fucking late bloomer. That is what it is. Listen, y'all, I know to be in your 30s and not have dated or hooked up with anybody or whatever, that sounds crazy. But think about it. If Sabrina's character was a late bloomer, the way she acts and reacts to certain things would make so much more sense than what it is right now. If she was the type of person who, was always, oh no, I'm focused on this. I'm focused on work. I'm focused on my career. I'm not dating. If she is one of those people and then somebody finally caught her eye and she don't know what to do, that would have been so much better for the storyline. Because Maurice walking her through that would have made more sense. Or am I tripping? Like, I just feel like it would have been a lot more interesting to see Sabrina, even as beautiful as she is, you know what I'm saying? It would have been way more interesting to see her navigate some of these situations from that naive space versus what we know about her. But moving on from there, y'all, let's go ahead and get to Fatima. Baby, the only thing I could say was, you're just a paralegal. Like, girl, the fact that you're talking to Hayden about Chaz and how you're making the executive decision to cut Chaz as a client is crazy. Now, one thing that I will say is I like the fact that Hayden was like, so what exactly happened here? Because why would you even say that? So she don't want to talk about it, but he's like, oh, okay, I get it. He pressed you about hooking up or something like that, and your nigga was mad about it. Now, of course, she doesn't want to admit to that because that's the truth, but also it makes her look unprofessional and crazy. But also at the same time, I just feel like this was a situation where Hayden should have been able to maneuver in a way of, you know what, I'll take you particularly off of that case. Or not case, but I'll take you off of that client because there was that interaction. However, you do not make those decisions. I make the decisions on who will be a client and who won't be a client. So then Hayden is like, okay, so what's the game plan? Right? And I'm like, sir, you the lawyer. Why are you letting her make that decision? Okay? But she said she got something. So now she suggested that they take on female clients. Y'all, let's be so for real. The female athletes particularly do not bring in the same amount of money that male athletes do. And this is something that Hayden brought up. And she's like, yeah, but you know, the girls, they don't get in trouble like the guys do. They're always messing up their brand deals and all of this. I get where we're going. I'm all for women in sports and everything. But when I tell you this was mishandled, this is terribly mishandled. Y'all, this is when I miss Robin. I miss Robin on this show so much. Because I feel like he would have been the one to put Fatima in her place enough to be like, listen, I love that you're bringing new clientele. However, this, and this cannot happen. You do not make those certain decisions. And at the end of the day, I feel like he probably would have checked Chaz and been like, and you as a client, you should know better. Like, we don't play those games at this firm. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like Hayden ain't that guy. Hayden is too busy trying to be bestie boos with all of the damn players. But you know what? Whatever. This is what we got. This is what we're working with. So, moving on from there, here's my question. How close does Fatima live to the office? Because how is it that she going home? She went home for her lunch break. Zach is telling her about how he got his $100,000, yet he don't know where it came from. I'm like, how do you not know? The man said that he called the bank to make sure that it was legit. But I'm like, they couldn't tell you where the money came from? That's weird. So, he also tells her about Mr. Keys knowing his father, right? Now, y'all, I can't lie. I feel like this may be a little plot twist that they're trying to throw at us, and Mr. Keys is really the daddy. And Fatima is giving us the side eye, okay? Like, what's going on with that story? Like, this is so random. But now Zach wants to have this man over for dinner. Child, whatever, okay? Moving on from there, we see Andy's mother is still waiting on her ride, okay? And Fatima walks into the office, right? Andy's mom is so fucking messy for this. She ends up telling Fatima, like, oh, I know that you have your hands, full with all these other things that you're doing. And, Andy is so stressed out and she doesn't have any help. I said, any help? Andy is working on a case that ain't got nothing to do with the firm. Like, I think that's what's frustrating me about this, y'all. And I'm all for her working on this case. But, like, it's not even like Andy is working at night, at her house, going over these things like on her own time. She's technically doing stuff that she ain't supposed to be doing. But nonetheless, my thing is that this lady got all up in Fatima's face to tell her that she better get her stuff together because Andy will fire her. Okay? But then had the audacity to ask her about Dr. Vaughn. Bitch, you just told me that I'm about to get fired. Why the fuck am I giving you any information? If I was Fatima, I would have just walked right on off. But I think that they just cut the scene where it's like she didn't say anything or we didn't hear what she said, right? So, here's my thing. Did that lady overstep? Absolutely. She absolutely overstepped. And, I probably would have walked right on off. Like, girl, fuck you and your daughter, okay? Moving on from there, Zach ends up calling Fatima. No. Fatima ends up calling Zach, right? And she tells him about the conversation that she just had with Andy's mom. And she's like, yeah, and after all of this that we've done for her, and, I've had Andy's back. Hell, I still had Andy back when she asked about Dr. Vaughn, okay? Because she's like, I don't know nothing about all of that, which technically she don't. She don't know how far deep in Andy is with Dr. Vaughn, okay? Because she trying to hide him from the world. So Fatima's like, well, you know what? I plan on nipping all of this in the bud with Andy because if you planning on firing me, let me know that. Here's the thing. She says that she feels like Andy has been acting strange since everything happened. And I feel like she's referencing everything that happened with Gary. Not so much things that happened with Karen, but things that happened with Gary and Hudson and all of that, right? Now, Zach decides that this will be the time for him to tell Fatima that he saw Andy naked. I said, read the room, baby. This was not the time. And he tells her, this was not a big deal. And she's like, no, it is a big deal. Because it's the fact that neither one of y'all stepped up to the plate to tell me this information. And he's like, well, I just feel like it was never the right time. There was a lot going on. Like, I lost my baby. All of that's fine. All of that's absolutely fine. But sir, at some point you absolutely could have told your wife. Well, no, I'm sorry. That is not your wife. That man says that on every episode how Fatima is his wife. And she is not. He got me saying it. So now she even more pissed off. She's like, you know what? I need to go talk to Andy right now. Okay? She jumps off the phone. So we get to the last scene. We got Sabrina, Andy, and Danny meeting up because Karen had called them earlier to say, we have some things to talk about, ladies. So they're waiting on her to come to this restaurant. And Andy, she's so happy to tell the ladies that Dr. Vaughn brought her coffee and how, she plans to work with him on this case. Danny is over there giving her the side eye because it's like, girl, is this a work relationship or is this more than that? And Andy's like, it's just work. Girl, you making out with him in your office. Or should I say the conference room of the office. And that's even worse. Okay? Because that thing is all glass. Like, girl, here you go. Mixing business with pleasure. Like you always do. I can't. So under her breath, Danny, I think she told her that, she said something. I can't even remember what it was. She said something under her breath and Andy heard it and she wanted her to repeat it. But Danny didn't end up doing that because Karen shows up, right? Karen shows up, baby. She's beaming, okay? She's radiant. And they're like, oh, okay, so why are we all here? Like, what's the news? Oh, baby, Fatima walks in. Before Karen can even get to the news, Fatima is like, can I pull you to the side, Andy? And Andy's like, well, I'm here with my friends and I'm doing something. She's like, I need to talk to you. Well, this can wait till later. Andy, I'll be at the bar. You need to go ahead and talk to me right now. And baby, Fatima do not look like she's about to play with Andy, okay? And I understand where she's coming from. Like, girl, if we supposed to be friends, if you gonna fire me, let me know. I think she's more upset about the potential of being fired than the whole Zach seeing her naked situation, for real. Now, y'all, I must say, this is one show where everybody practically seen each other naked or something, okay? Danny done seen Zach naked. Now Zach done seen Fatima. Not Fatima. We seen Fatima. He's seen Fatima naked. Karen naked, now Andy naked. What is going on? But y'all, that was the episode. Let me know what y'all thought about it. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to y'all on my next review. Bye, guys.